Welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm just going to do quite a simple landscape, nothing too detailed, so I'm just going to take you through some of my favourite techniques as I do this painting. I'm using £140 rough paper. I believe it's the Bockingford, which is quite nice paper to use. I do like to use the Bockingford because it is slightly less expensive than a lot of other papers, and it's not a cotton paper, but it's quite exceptional, the quality, so you can get some really nice effects, and it's really nice paper to use. So I'm starting off with just a light wash of clean water just in the sky area, and you can see just using my 1-inch hake brush just to get that water on the paper. And I've left a few open areas so I don't want the paper completely wet all over. And then starting with a light wash of yellow ochre. I like to use yellow ochre in the sky. I used to do that quite a lot, so I wanted to go back to doing that as well. And then just a little bit of French ultramarine in the sky. And then as I start mixing those, I'm just popping a little bit more colour on my brush. So I'm using a little bit of red this time and a little bit of Payne's grey. You might see that in the colours now. So it just gives that more depth and a bit more tone in the sky. And usually I don't really mess around too much in the sky area. You can see it's looking a little bit of a mess. But one of the things I like to do is tilt my board so that some of that pigment runs at a different angle. Just makes things a little bit more interesting. You may see on my channel that I do this quite a few times. And while it's on a different angle, you can just play around a little bit more. You can manipulate that pigment. And one of the things that I've recently seen on YouTube is using a dry brush. So a soft brush like this. This is my, I think it's a 3-inch hake brush. So I don't usually use this larger hake brush, but I'm using it today just as a dry brush, just to blend some of those colours, just to mix them and just softly blend and get that nice effect in the sky. You can see those colours coming together nicely now. And obviously the wetter the pigment, the more movement you can get on in the painting. So I kind of like that. And also if you want, you can sort of pull the paint down at an angle. So it gives you that look of a storm, or it could be rain, or just anything going on in the sky. So it just gives a nice sort of mood, a bit of atmosphere to the painting. So quite easy to do. You can see just pulling down now. It's still quite a dry brush, and I did add a little bit of water as well just to get some of that pigment moving, and you can see the sort of effects that come out there. So it's quite interesting, and like I said, I don't usually mess around too much with the sky area, but sometimes it is nice to just spend a little bit more time. You can see the different textures now I've got in the sky. Some people may like this, you may not. And then I forgot to press record on my video. So I just added some mountains, just using the same sort of colour as the sky, as I added the red. So it's a grey blue sort of mix. And then with my trusty credit card, I'm just scraping some highlights in those mountains. So as always, if you do like this video so far, please do give me a thumbs up. Really do appreciate that. And if you do have any comments, all comments are welcome on this channel. So just pop your comments in the comment section below. I do like to read those and answer those when I receive those. So as you can see, quite easy really to scrape out some highlights. And if you've not done this technique before, if you've not used the scraping out technique, then just something you can practice. It really is nice to do, and it gives some really nice effects in your painting. And then as I've done that, I've just scraped out some of the bottom of the mountains and then just tapping in some texture. I'm not really quite sure what, you know, from this moment, I'm not really sure what I'm looking for in this painting. I'm just sort of having fun. I knew I wanted some mountains, some scraping, some highlights, and then I'm just sort of guessing as I go along, just playing it, just playing around and seeing what I come up with. I'm guessing I want some sort of a land area in the bottom, so I've mixed in with the yellow ochre some Van Dyke brown now, so I'm just pulling that across and just leaving a little bit of light open in the middle, so this can be a little bit of a river or some water in the scene. And so I will be reflecting some of the light or some of the colours from the sky into that water as well. So one of the things I wanted to do is add a little bit of colour in the foreground. So I did dip into some red. And if that's too much, you can always lift that or just add a little bit more dark on top. Or you can also use your brush just to dab that and sort of move that around, sort of disturb that while it's on the paper so it just is not as strong. So I'm just going in now, dabbing, just adding some sort of texture. And now I do want a tree line at the bottom of the mountains. It always looks nice on these sort of scenes. And as always, this scene is not from a reference. It's just a nice, free, loose painting. Quite nice to do. If you're not used to painting without using reference, then it's definitely something you can try. And once you practice and do that quite a few times, it becomes almost second nature. And the beauty of it is you can add or take away whatever you want in your scene. You just decide, I think, before you start what sort of painting you want. If you want mountains and trees, maybe you want a little cottage or some sort of building, and then you just plan that and just go for it and have fun. Choose your colours, so you want to keep things quite muted, quite simple. Use 3 or 4 colours, and then just as you mix them, you get these nice different tones and variations as you do so. So one of the things I do need to do is my spray bottle, my mister bottle. I've had that for, I think I've had it for about 5 or 6 years. It has broke, so I do need to pick up another one of those. So you won't see me using my mister bottle anymore until I pick up another one. It was really cheap if you've not used spray to spray water and get the pigment moving. I think I got it was 50p from Boots here in the UK. So a cosmetics shop, any sort of makeup or makeup shops will sell these sort of things. So I do need to find another one of those mister bottles, just a small spray that I can use to manipulate the paint. But it's not the end of the world. I can just go on and go on without until I get another one. So as I said, I want to reflect some of that colour in the water below. So just tapped in a little bit of yellow ochre and ran that across. So it gives me that nice reflected light in the water. So with a smaller brush now, I'm just tapping in some of those trees, just adding little bits of texture here and there. This is actually a flat brush, sorry. I'm don't really use a flat brush very often, so I just thought I'd use it a bit more. And then again, one of my favourite techniques is scraping out. You'll see how I get these rocks in the foreground. So I'm just literally adding colour, just blobbing some colour down. It doesn't really matter what colour you use, because also you will get the undercoat sort of coming through as well. But I like to mix the colours, just dab into any sort of darks, a mix of all the colours I've used so far. So things like yellow ochre, a bit of Van Dyke brown, a bit of Payne's grey, even blue, and a touch of red. And then just go in with the credit card and just scrape some of the highlights in for these rocks in the foreground. So it always does create a really nice effect in these sort of scenes. If you do struggle with foregrounds, I know it can be quite daunting. You can get a nice sky, you can spend a little bit of time, get some nice mountains, a nice bit of a backdrop. And then when it comes to a foreground, you may struggle. I know sometimes I do for ideas more or less. So it's just nice to add some rocks and scrape out some highlights. It always does make a really nice looking painting. It also gives you a focal point and something to, when you look at the painting, your eyes sort of start at the foreground, so you look at the rocks and then your eyes are drawn to the background, the mountains, and then the sky. So it's quite nice. If you want to add some trees, you can add some bigger trees in the foreground. Really is up to you, and that's why I like doing these sort of paintings. You're quite free to just pop in whatever you want and just have fun with it. There's really no pressure, and that's one of the things that I really want to show you when you're doing these sort of paintings. I'm not after perfection. If I wanted perfection, it certainly wouldn't be a 15-minute video. I have edited it, but if I wanted something a bit more perfect, a bit more of a masterpiece, then it would certainly be more than a 15-minute video. But I just want to show you the essence of creating a nice landscape that you can that you can paint. You know, despite your experience, it just comes down to practice and confidence with the brush. I know I've said it before, but if you sort of paint as if you're not really bothered about the outcome, it takes that pressure away. You sort of enjoy things a bit more, and things sort of turn out a little bit better when you don't have that pressure. When you're not fussing too much, you just enjoy yourself. Just let the paint go, and not complicate things with all different colours. Just sort of limit yourself, maybe 2 or 3 brushes, 2 or 3 colours, and you're good to go. But it does take practice. If you just keep practicing, you will surprise yourself. It's quite interesting with watercolor, the learning curves that you come across, the different the more you try, the more different things you try, the more things you learn, the things that you learn that you not to do again. But it's nice when things do work out. So don't, as a lot of times when you're painting, sometimes it looks a bit of a mess, and you've got to get through that. I know I've heard it said before, and I do say that a lot of times in watercolor. When you're doing your painting, you go through this messy stage, and it seems like you're going to abandon your painting, and you're not happy with it, and you get frustrated. But as you continue, things do seem to come together. And if that fails, then you can always use, if you do have some drawing pens, some ink pens, you can always tie things together a bit and use a pen just to bring something together and make something work within the scene, and then you can learn from that as you go along. So I do like to pop birds in my scenes, you can see, and I do normally use a pen to do that. Just much easier to draw with a pen than a liner brush. Otherwise I'll have 15-foot birds flying around in my scene. Hard to control the brush. But that's pretty much it. As you can see, removing the tape now, it just makes things look like a complete painting. And if you do want to frame your painting, then it just gives you an idea what it will look like. They just always look much better. And you can see the details, the rocks and the details in the foreground. You can see the nice soft sort of background. Bit of texture in the sky. I'm not sure, you know, some people may like that, may not. I just think it looks a bit interesting. So I just left it. I'm just happy to leave things the way they are. Some things work, some things don't, and that's absolutely fine. It's all about learning and trying new things. But that's it for this week. I really do hope you like this one. Please do give it a go, and let me know how you get on. And if you do have any comments, please leave them in the comment section. Don't forget to give me a like And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and check out my other content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.